Hi, this is Nicole again. I serve as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. Today, I wanted to talk to you again about gold and silver and what the Bible says about it. Gold and silver have captivated human imagination for millennia, symbolizing wealth, power, and divine favor. In the Bible, these precious metals are mentioned numerous times, often carrying profound spiritual and symbolic meanings. This article delves into the biblical references to gold and silver, exploring both their positive and negative connotations. By examining these passages, we can gain a deeper understanding of how these metals were perceived in biblical times and their enduring significance in religious and cultural contexts. What are some of the positive connotations of gold and silver in the Bible? The following are 3 positive things the Bible says about gold and silver. 1. Divine presence and holiness. One of the most prominent positive associations of gold in the Bible is its connection to the divine presence. The Ark of the Covenant, a sacred object that housed the 10 Commandments, was overlaid with pure gold, Exodus 25 verses 10 to 11. This golden ark symbolized God's presence among the Israelites and was a central piece in the tabernacle, the portable sanctuary used during their wilderness journey. Similarly, the temple in Jerusalem, Solomon's grand structure, was adorned with gold, highlighting its holiness and significance as a place of worship, 1 Kings 6 verses 20 to 22. The use of gold in these sacred spaces underscores its association with divine presence and holiness. 2. Royalty and authority. Gold is often associated with royalty and authority in the Bible. King Solomon, renowned for his wisdom and wealth, accumulated vast amounts of gold, which he used to build the temple and adorn his palace, 1 Kings 10 verses 14 to 25. His wealth and gold symbolized his power and the prosperity of his kingdom. Moreover, the crowns of kings were often made of gold, signifying their divine right to rule. For instance, the crown of the high priest was adorned with a golden plate inscribed with "Holy to the Lord," Exodus 28 verses 36 to 38, emphasizing the sacred nature of his authority. 3. Beauty and value. The Bible frequently praises the beauty and value of gold and silver. In the Song of Solomon, the beloved is compared to gold and silver, highlighting their aesthetic appeal, Song of Solomon 5 verse 11. This metaphorical use of precious metals underscores their cultural significance as symbols of beauty and worth. Furthermore, gold and silver are often used as metaphors for spiritual treasures. In Matthew 13 verse 44, Jesus compares the kingdom of heaven to a treasure hidden in a field, suggesting that spiritual wealth is more valuable than material riches. The following are 3 negative connotations of gold and silver in the Bible. 1. Idolatry and materialism. Despite their positive associations, gold and silver are also linked to idolatry and materialism in the Bible. The golden calf incident in Exodus 32 serves as a stark warning against the dangers of idolatry. While Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving the 10 Commandments, the Israelites crafted a golden calf and worshipped it, violating the first commandment. This incident highlights the potential for gold to become an object of worship and a source of spiritual corruption. Similarly, the prophet Hosea warns against the love of silver and gold, suggesting that such materialism can lead people away from God, Hosea 12 verse 8. 2. Corruption and injustice. Gold and silver are sometimes associated with corruption and injustice in the Bible. The prophets frequently criticized the wealthy for their exploitation of the poor, often using gold and silver as symbols of their oppressive wealth. For example, in Micah 6 verses 10 to 12, the prophet condemns those who amass gold and silver dishonestly, highlighting the social injustice that can arise from the pursuit of material wealth. Similarly, in Ezekiel 22 verse 27, the prophet laments the corruption of the princes of Israel, who violate the law and overstep the decrees for the sake of gold and silver, further emphasizing the potential for these metals to foster injustice. 3. Temptation and greed. The Bible also warns against the temptation and greed that can accompany the pursuit of gold and silver. In 1 Timothy 6 verse 10, Paul states that the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, suggesting that the desire for wealth can lead to moral corruption. The story of King Ahab and Naboth's vineyard in 1 Kings 21 illustrates this danger. Ahab, driven by greed, covets Naboth's vineyard and, with the help of his wicked wife Jezebel, arranges for Naboth's death to acquire the land. This narrative serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of greed and the lengths to which people may go to acquire wealth. What are some of the symbolic and spiritual significance of gold and silver? 1. Purification and refinement. The process of refining gold and silver is often used as a metaphor for spiritual purification in the Bible. In Malachi 3 verses 2-3, God is described as a refiner's fire and a fuller's soap, purifying and refining his people as gold and silver are refined by fire. This metaphor suggests that trials and difficulties can serve to purify and strengthen one's faith, much like the refining process removes impurities from precious metals. 2. Eternal value. Gold and silver are also associated with eternal value in the Bible. In contrast to perishable treasures, these metals are seen as enduring symbols of lasting worth. In 1 Peter 1 verse 7, the trial of faith is described as more precious than gold, which perishes even though it is tested by fire, suggesting that spiritual trials can lead to an even greater and more enduring value. 3. Divine wisdom. The pursuit of gold and silver is sometimes contrasted with the pursuit of divine wisdom. In Proverbs 3 verses 13-15, wisdom is described as more precious than rubies, and in Proverbs 8 verses 10-11, it is compared to choice silver. This comparison suggests that the pursuit of wisdom and understanding is of greater value than the pursuit of material wealth. What are biblical narratives and their lessons about gold and silver? 1. The story of Solomon. The life of King Solomon provides a complex narrative about the role of gold and silver. Initially, Solomon's wealth in gold and silver is a sign of God's blessing and his wisdom in ruling justly. 1 Kings 10 verses 23-25. However, his later indulgence in wealth and his many wives lead to his downfall, highlighting the potential for material riches to distract from spiritual devotion. 1 Kings 11 verses 1-13. 2. The parable of the talents. In Matthew 25 verses 14-30, Jesus tells the parable of the talents, where a master entrusts his servants with varying amounts of money, talents. The servants who invest and multiply their talents are rewarded, while the one who buries his talent is rebuked. This parable suggests that God's gifts, including material wealth, should be used wisely and productively, not hoarded or wasted. 3. The rich young ruler. The encounter between Jesus and the rich young ruler in Matthew 19 verses 16-22 provides another perspective on the relationship between wealth and spiritual life. The young man, despite his wealth, struggles to follow Jesus' command to sell his possessions and give to the poor. This narrative underscores the challenge of balancing material wealth with spiritual commitment. What are some of the contemporary relevance we should consider? The biblical teachings on gold and silver remain relevant in contemporary contexts, offering insights into the complex relationship between material wealth and spiritual life. In an era marked by economic inequality and consumerism, the Bible's warnings against idolatry, materialism, and greed serve as important reminders of the potential for wealth to corrupt and distract from higher values. Moreover, the Bible's emphasis on the spiritual value of gold and silver encourages a more holistic view of wealth, one that recognizes its potential for both good and ill. By understanding the biblical perspectives on these precious metals, individuals and societies can strive for a more balanced and ethical approach to wealth and its use. In conclusion, the Bible presents a nuanced and multifaceted view of gold and silver, acknowledging their positive associations with divine presence, royalty, and beauty, while also warning against their potential for idolatry, corruption, and greed. Through narratives and metaphors, the Bible encourages a thoughtful and discerning approach to wealth, emphasizing the pursuit of spiritual wisdom and the responsible stewardship of material resources. By examining these biblical teachings, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the enduring significance of gold and silver and their role in shaping religious and cultural values. Ultimately, the Bible invites us to consider how we can use these precious metals and the wealth they represent in ways that honor God and benefit others, balancing material prosperity with spiritual growth and ethical conduct.
My name is Mark. I'm one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them into action to vote for their biblical values and to actively engage in our culture. We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.